welcome to BioStock Studio at Medicon Village. Today we are standing here with a couple of guests from across the water from the Copenhagen area. We have with us in the studio today FluoGuide, who are into improving surgical outcome of cancer operations or cancer surgery. I'm pleased to welcome Morten Albrechtsen, CEO, and Andreas Kjaer, CSO of the company. Welcome.
Thank you.
Morten, I'm going to start addressing you. For those who don't know FluoGuide that well, what is it that you do?
We help the surgeon to see the cancer. Under cancer surgery, 50% of the cancers will regrow locally after surgery, and that is because they're very hard to see and feel for the surgeon. We do a product that lights up cancer so the surgeon can see it and remove everything. That's in a sense what we are doing.
And when you say light up the cancer, you mean it glows basically?
It is precisely is a UPAR targeted fluorophore. UPAR is a protein on the cancer, and the fluorophore is a molecule. When you expose it to light, it will light up to you so you can see it. So that is what I mean precisely.
And Andreas, can you tell a little bit more about this leading product that you're developing, the FJ1? How does it work in more detail?
As Morten already said, it's a compound that you inject, and at the end then it will make cancer light up. The way it works is that it's a peptide that binds to UPAR, which is a receptor on cancer, expressed on cancer but not on healthy cells. Then it's quite simple to use, but it has a large impact. You inject it into the patient that is scheduled for surgery just when surgery is to begin or just before. It then spreads throughout the body, but only binds to the cancer cells. And then you cannot see it with the naked eye when the surgeon does the operation, but when you turn on a special light, we call it a night vision, then it makes the cancer glow. And this guides the surgeon, so the surgeon can then say, well, I need to remove what is lightening up, that's the cancer, and I don't touch what's not lightening up because that's healthy tissue. And that way you can do it much more precise.
And this technology, which sounds very exciting, is it something that you can use on all kinds of cancer, or do you have a certain main focus right now that you're looking to?
Yeah, I could say yes to both things. So it can be used, and that's one of the unique characteristics of the target we are pursuing, UPAR. It's expressed across cancers, and a lot of competing technologies only go for one cancer. So we are very broad, so we can actually, the technology can be used on all cancers. That being said, we are going for a first indication, and that is brain tumor, and that is because it's a real, it's a tumor with a very poor outcome where there's a lot of room for improvement. So that is our first indication.
And can you tell us a little bit about the results that you have had so far in preclinical stages?
Yeah, in preclinical studies, and what we do is mouse clinical trials. So basically, in these models, we use human cancer. It's cancer from humans implanted into mice, and then we do everything just as you would do with patients. We use the experienced surgeons, we use equipment, and we use the same cameras, the night vision, for doing this. And when we do this and we test it in an array of cancers, we can show that a lot of cancer tissue is overlooked if you're not using our technology. So you operate in white light, the surgeon says, I removed what is cancer, and then you turn out the night vision, and then in half of the cases, you can see that there's actually left cancer tissue behind. This would have been patients where you thought you had done a radical operation, but you would have left cancer behind. If you leave cancer behind, it will regrow, and you will have to operate again, or it might even be too late to operate again.
Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned you're looking into glioblastoma, very difficult form of cancer, a very aggressive brain cancer. What would you say are the biggest benefits of using your product, both from a patient perspective and from a hospital and healthcare in general perspective?
From the view of the patient, and we always keep that really our focus for the cancer patient. Today, all of these cancers, in essence, regrow. So none of the surgeries are sufficient. That would be, you leave tissue behind, and that's because they grow in a very subtle way, and it's difficult to see all the cells. So we hope with our technology to be able to guide the surgeon to remove all of the cancers. Then when you talk about brain cancer, and you have to remember that the average survival is only around 1 year for these patients, so very, very poor outcome. Then it's also a question of not just removing a lot of healthy tissue also. You want to remove all cancer, but not healthy tissue, because you could imagine it was the center of speech that you removed. So everything too much you remove in the brain, you will remove some functions. So you want to keep what is to be kept and only remove the cancer. So that is the part of it, and of course this will lead, we expect, to a longer survival. And one thing should be mentioned with brain cancer. This glioblastoma, this very aggressive cancer, 10% of the cases are in children. And in children, there's even more to gain, because the number of years you can save in a child is very important.
Crucial, yeah.
I can say from the hospital point of view, it's very important how good your product have to be. Then they also have to show to the hospital that you can save money to be able to sell it to them in a relatively short-term manner. And that's why we aim at a price that will be similar to the saving that the hospital has, because if they have to avoid reoperation or more aggressive treatment, that will give them a saving. So that's the saving they can pay for our product. And if we do that, then there's a direct benefit for the hospital as well as the patient, and that is really the beauty of it. The last thing also is the manufacturers. There's a lot of equipment manufacturers that are very important in the surgical field, and we also benefit them in the sense that we can do their equipment perform better. So actually the beauty of FluoGuide is that we help all stakeholders really.
It's a win-win-win situation.
Really.
Your product is classified as an imaging agent within the medical product regulation. And glioblastoma qualifies as an orphan drug designation. How does this affect your path to market?
Yes, I mean, it's affected the path to market that when you are under the medicine regulation, then you have a certain thing you have to do for proving that it's safe, proving that you can produce it and prove the clinical studies afterwards. But basically it is with all healthcare products, you have to prove the benefit of your product and the safety to get it approved. So what it does is just outline the regulation we are under. And we, as you mentioned, we are under the imaging agent guideline, and that is because they are different than drugs, that there's no effect expected of them. So the guideline is simpler, they're more straightforward, and the beauty of, again, the clinical development is that it has to be very short clinical studies we are doing to prove the benefit of our product. So it's just have a very well-regulated pathway, and it's very short to the market.
Quick time to the market, something that the other market likes very much as well.
Yes.
So if we look forward, what milestones can we expect from FluoGuide in the near future?
Well, we have a very exciting 12 months ahead. Right now we are a preclinical stage company, strictly speaking. In 12 months we will be a phase 3 stage clinical study stage company. And what that means is that we have enormous development in the next 12 months, and therefore very exciting to follow. So I can mention some of the milestones. This regulatory interaction we have, we will submit for the CTA for our first clinical trial this summer in Q2. We have an expected outcome in Q3. We will prepare the production which is needed, the commercial production which is needed before we start the phase 3 study. That we will prepare. We will do all the interaction with the regulatory agency about the phase 3 design and get the buy-in. So when we start and push the button for the phase 3, then actually will lead to approval. All that will happen in the next 12 months. So it's definitely very exciting 12 months we have ahead of us.
And I can't avoid asking the obvious question: is your plan, are they not affected negatively in any way by the COVID-19 crisis?
It seems that it is not the case. We were fortunate in the sense that a lot of the laboratory work we were doing was finished before it really started. So that means that we can now do mostly paperwork for the clinical trials we are planning this summer. And also that the peak in the hospital will be over at the time where we start the study. So we are really fortunate in the sense that we are not very much affected. Then I could say also that all through Corona is very severe for society. Brain cancer for children are also very severe. So it is a surgery that you will not delay too much because you have to do something quickly for this kind of patients.
Of course, critical care that needs to be prioritized.
Yes.
I thank you very much for coming here today and telling us about FluoGuide, and wish you all the luck going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.